Electric Cafe.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. In this video, I'll be sharing with you, also reviewing the 1996 album by Palmskin Productions, and the album's called Remixler. And this is a really good album. This was an album that was recommended to me. I never had heard this album before getting to check it out last week, and I was impressed by it. I like the abstractness of the album. There's a lot of different instruments for sure throughout this album, and I really like the abstract side to this Downtempo. I think that's the key thing to this particular album is you really don't know what's coming next. When I get into the tracks, track number 1, Condition Red. Really like the cool sounds on here, the organ, the synths. Unfortunately, with the beat, the snare is pretty annoying. It's a little bit loud, and also the beat's a little crunchy. And in some ways, it sort of balances out the hazy dream effect that forms. But I would prefer the rhythm to be a little bit more warmer, and so it prevents the album for me from being an elite song. But still, it's a really good song. And unfortunately, it also does have some scratching in it, which doesn't really. It kind of gives it kind of doesn't really help with the timelessness of the track. It kind of gives it kind of a dated feel, and I'm not a big fan of scratching in downtempo unless it's more towards hip hop, and this one isn't quite there, so I don't think it really goes with the track. But still, having said that, a loud snare and a crunchy beat and some scratching, and I still give the track 7 out of 10 stars. So you can, the rest of the song is really good. Track 2, called Fair 7. Again, nice chord washes. Again, the harshness with the beat, but it's balanced with the nice chords. So, but I feel like it could have been better. It's like right there, but I feel like it could have been better. Track 3, How the West Was Won. A lot of scratching on this track, unfortunately, and that's the 90s for you. A lot of trying to be hip with down tempo and scratchings, but I do like the progression of the melody and the hazy, kind of lazy, hazy day feel. Track number 4, Osaka. Interesting sound here with the horns and the piano, and it kind of shows the band's or the duo's roots in the acid jazz sound in here. They did some acid jazz before this album in a few albums, and here it kind of comes out a little bit more so than a lot of the other tracks. And definitely here, this one even has a guitar solo in here. Kind of creative, but just not really a track for me, and I can't really score it very high as it is. Just doesn't really kind of grab me, but some interesting sounds in there for sure. Track number 5, called Trouble Rides a Fast Horse. One of the smoothest tracks so far in the album, but unfortunately it's the shortest, and I would have liked it if it would have. I would have loved it if it went on a little bit longer. Then there's a track called Flipper, track number 6. Kind of disorienting a little bit. It kind of makes you feel like you're kind of lost or a little bit hazy, but also kind of trippy. But it has a nice ambient sound to it overall. And then skipping a couple tracks to my favorite 2 tracks on the second half of the album. Track number 10, called Walking Through Water. I like the girl's voice in this track. She sounds like angels in the background. It's got a really trippy feel about it. But it's more gentle, and the keys are really nice as well. And then track 11, the last track, called Beethoven Street. Considering the rankings, it's my favorite track on the album. Just more relaxing, gentle beat, strings, violins, just all good. This is I really like how the album ends. But just a solid CD overall. I can't really say anything didn't hit with me, or maybe there's just one or maybe 1.5 songs I didn't think were towards my liking, but I still felt were like okay. But I think it's a solid album, and I do think it's an album that grows on you, and I do think it's an album that if you're looking for down tempo that's a little bit more abstract and a little bit different, I think you'll like this album. And considering it came from 1996, it's definitely on the edge or the ending of acid jazz and sort of the beginning times of electronic downtempo. And so I like the combination of the two and sort of the blending of the band evolving into more of a downtempo album. And adding that key abstractness to it is really helpful. But again, a lot of different sounds on here, and again, a solid CD overall. An album that somebody suggested to me, so thank you for suggesting this album for me. It was a fun listen.